Hello everyone, welcome to this presentation today, Cloud COVID-19 Survival Panel. This is our section webinar for small businesses. I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS Small Business, and I'm going to be joined today by guest presenters Priscilla B. Smith from Management Accounting Services, and Priscilla will be talking to you shortly. And we also have Jeff Goodrich, who's joining us from Darwin. He's had a bit of a computer problem at present, but hopefully he'll be joining us in the next couple of minutes. So how are you today, Priscilla?
Very well, Peter. I'm privileged to be invited to the panel.
Thank you. And I just want to give a few things first. If any of the viewers have got any questions, can you please enter them into chat and we will answer the questions later in the webinar. If you're watching this on the live feed on Facebook, you won't be able to type in your question, but you can send me an email, please, peter@essbiztools.com.au, and I will make sure that the panelists get your question and send you the answer, and we'll record those questions and answers on the ESS Small Business website within the Survival in Difficult Times Learn More section. We are also recording the webinar, and we will be sending all persons who have registered for the webinar a link to the webinar recording. If you're watching this on a live feed from Facebook and you would like to have a link to the recording, please send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, and we will send you the link to the live recording. I'd just like to start with some updates on what's happening within COVID-19. There's always something happening in this space. The JobKeeper registrations, the government's saying they're a bit lower than what they expected. Apparently about 900,000 businesses, that's just about every business in Australia, I would have thought, originally registered to be kept informed, but less than 400,000 have actually registered at this stage. And that may have been the reason that the government has extended the registration date until the 31st of May. It was going to be tomorrow, 30th of April, but it's now been extended. That's if you want to gain the JobKeeper payment of $1,500 per fortnight per the eligible employee from the start of this scheme, which was Monday, the 30th of March. You can now take until the 31st of May to register for that, and Priscilla is going to be talking in more detail about that a little bit later on. And I've already told you about the registration date. The first JobKeeper payments, that is if you have already registered, are supposed to be getting paid next week by the tax office. And I'm sure many of the small, medium enterprise community operators will be very pleased to see those payments. The Prime Minister had a few words for the banks during the last week and asked them to lift their game, and that was really to make sure that the special loans that the government really and the Reserve Bank have made the money available to the banks, $105 billion, was fast-tracked so that it could be put out into the business community, because businesses were complaining that they were having trouble getting those special coronavirus guaranteed loans, the Commonwealth's guaranteeing 50% of the debt, and the loans are to be repaid in 3 years with a maximum amount of $250,000. I noticed since that the banks have now jointly released a hotline number, which we will be including in some of our communications, so that if anyone wants to talk to a bank about accessing the coronavirus guarantee loans. You've now got a hotline number to ring. And that's all come about since Scott Morrison rang the banks. One other thing to remember, and this might affect some of the businesses that originally said they were interested in JobKeeper but now have not registered, is that if you wish to avail yourself of the commercial tenancy code, which enables you to negotiate with your landlord with the backing of the commercial tenancy code, you need to have qualified for the JobKeeper program. Doesn't matter if you're not going to access the payments of $1,500 per fortnight, but you must have qualified as such for the JobKeeper registration to utilize that. So you need to keep that in mind. I've come across this the other day, 7 lessons to survive the coronavirus. Organizations must be resilient and flexible. This one was a public company document. Ensure diversity of experience on boards and advisors if possible. Maintain an ability to step back and take a breath. I think we all need to be able to do that from time to time. Take time to look after yourself. This is very important, that you keep yourself physically fit and in good health so that you're functioning properly. And empower staff and give them the ability to make decisions on the spot. And put safety at the core. Organizations need to be finding safe ways to do your work. So we're going to incorporate these notes. Do not lose sight of what is happening in the broader economy. We're going to include these notes in the material which we have in the Learn More if you wish to access them. Also within the Learn More is a summary of the ESS Small Business COVID-19 Survival Plan, which we have available that you can subscribe to if you wish. I'm now going to introduce you to Priscilla B. Smith. Priscilla is a Brisbane-based accountant who does a lot of interesting additional work over and above what an accountant would normally do. And Priscilla is going to talk to you today about, first of all, in this first segment, the JobKeeper incentive explained. So Priscilla, how are you? I'm going to give you the opportunity now to bring up your PowerPoint slides, and you're now on screen. Good afternoon, how are you?
Thanks, Peter. I am very privileged to be here. And so let's see what we can tell our audience about the JobKeeper. I'm going to share my screen and just let me know if you can see my screen in a minute. This one, yeah, this one, and I need. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Not yet.
Not yet? All right, so it means that I have to press something else too. Okay, so this one and share.
Yep.
We are in business.
You got the first one there now, yep.
All right, so it should be full screen now.
Yep. Yep.
All right. So we teamed up with Peter Towers, and we normally doing many interviews, and just to inform business about the latest of the latest in the industry. And also, Peter Towers has excellent work done behind the scenes. For small business, we consider him the expert advisor in our group. So then I am privileged to be here, and so I'm a tax agent, senior accountant. I have many titles: partner, mentor, trainer, and all kind of things. Business advisor. Cloudline Associates is my main practice. Peter Towers, so I put the website in there for you to see where you can find us. And Peter Towers has the amazing tools. for accountants and a small business for small business. Now, this recording, it is for small business. We have small business in mind, which we both like to support with our work. So this is why we are here. And then you have the chance to meet the business advisory experts live today. So, JobKeeper incentive explained. We asked the question which small business is eligible. Basically, most small business who employ staff, they are eligible if they suffered a downturn in their turnover due to coronavirus crisis. Now, the benchmark percentage of decline in turnover is set at around 30% or more. And or if we expect the turnover to keep declining in the next few months. So that's the first eligibility criteria. And the small business has to be an Australian resident and registered in Australia. And also, we're saying that business who employs people, and also these days the go-ahead was given to small business who doesn't employ people. They are sole traders, sole directors, just the beneficiaries of some trust. And we'll talk about those groups in a minute. First, we're going to talk about the business who employs people, and they are eligible to apply if they had a decline in turnover due to coronavirus. There's steps how to apply and further comply with the rules, because application is one part of it, but for the small business has to comply with the incentive, monthly monitoring the happenings, what's happening. There is going to be a monthly declaration to keep up with the scheme. So how to apply? Small business is given the go-ahead to apply through their small business portal. This is accessible by using MyGov ID. MyGov ID is different than from MyGov logins. Small business can have their own small business portal. It is changed in the last couple of months, and the double, how can I say, we do have a dual identification to get in there. Now, I heard small business trying to get and they couldn't get it working because it's a complicated registration process for MyGov ID. But as a tax agents, accountants with a portal, with a tax portal, we can do it on behalf of our clients. And I would advise it, because instead of trying to figure it out yourself, you'll have a tax agent or an accountant linked to your business. And then for us tax agents, it takes only 5 minutes to do it. So it is simple for us. It might sound complicated to you. Please ask for advice and try to ask for the right advice. These steps to take, and we already worked it out. We worked out the steps in the systems and the ATO portal, which you know, the system is still far away from clear for small business, but we are already there. This is what we've been working on in the last couple of weeks intensively. So we would like to have small business who employ people, the employers who would like to participate, and they choose to participate in JobKeeper incentive. So first of all, there's steps which I'm gonna go through fast, but we always encourage you to come with questions, reach out to us or reach out to your tax agent and just try to figure it out with them, these steps. And if you don't know the steps, you can get it wrong. So that's why just ask for expert advice. So I'm going to go through very fast through the steps. First of all, we have to determine the turnover downfall percentage, and if the business is actually eligible, then we go to the next step. Then we have to enroll the business on the ATO portal or the business portal. With the ATO, it's called enrollment. There's a big banner on the ATO portal which you can't miss, so it is easy to go there. And according to the circumstances of the business, the questionnaire keeps opening and it takes you through the steps. You can't miss it. It is very straightforward once you get in there. Now, what ATO suggested that small business to be registered who has a payroll in place, because we are talking now about the small business who employs people. ATO is expecting that the small business to be registered for single touch payroll. They should have the single touch payroll in place because that makes it easier to report it. Now, they don't restrict it to employers who they are registered for single touch payroll, which is already a legislation in place. You should be there already. But if you are not, you can still go through the steps in the portal, and then you will have to enter manually the data. Single touch payroll reports to the ATO electronically at the press of a button. So if you're still not sure how to implement that, there is systems and low systems for single touch payroll. It is worth to actually enroll in the single touch payroll because it is the law anyway, and you can't keep or delay it too much longer. So now is the right time if you didn't do it. We do have solutions at $10 a month. I even found solutions at for free. The free ones is exactly what they are. They are a bit too hard to actually process, but it's not impossible. It's a bit harder than the already set up programs like Xero. We are also partners with Cloud Payroll, so we can set that up for you and $10 a month. After that, we set up the single touch payroll, that's fine. And then after that, we start to enroll employees in the system. So the system has to be set up in a certain way. I already figured it out. I had some success and lots of success already, whoever. So I can do it in minutes. And so it should happen to you. Okay, so it's not hard. There's steps. There's I did a training this morning on it for our group. Now they are very accomplished with that process, but it has to be done. Without that, the single touch payroll is not going to put it through. After that, we enroll the employees, all eligible employees, because this is a certain way that legislation stresses out. If you enter the JobKeeper scheme, you have to enroll all of your employees without cherry picking them. There is how to enroll employees. First of all, there is a form which employee declaration form, which you can find it on the ATO website. You download it and you give it to your employees. Employees, they fill in that form, and they will, this means that they accept you nominating them for the JobKeeper scheme. This is an internal document which rests with you and the employee. If employee consents, that means you can enroll them if they are eligible. So not all of your employees are eligible, but the systems, when the single touch payroll systems, they're gonna actually list them for you. So this internal document has to be kept as an internal document and produced if ATO would like to actually have a look at it, but doesn't need to be lodged with the ATO at this stage. So once we enroll employees, then we have to update JobKeeper pay items to report them to the ATO in the system. If not, you will have to enter it manually, and this is going to be a hard process. After that, we're reporting the pay rounds to the ATO by filling the STP, the single touch payroll, as soon as possible. At this stage, we have to catch up with 2 pay periods. As Peter said that we started on the 30th of March, first pay period. And by yesterday, we concluded 2 pay periods, which ATO would like to see it lodged in order to pay you next week, to reimburse the payments. Now, here I have to talk about the date. These date deadlines. So the deadlines for enrolling, they span to 31st of May. And this means that even if you enroll later, between now and the end of May, you can still take advantage of the first 2 periods. They will catch up with the payments for you. What is interesting here is that the ATO is expecting you to pay your employees first, and they will reimburse you backwards. So let's say in May, they will reimburse you for April. And so if you enrolled in May a bit later, you will have to wait a little bit longer. Now, they expect, because of all these deadlines and all this mess coming through and all this news and all these procedures to be put in place, it is a bit delayed. They will expect that if you didn't pay your employees in April, to pay them by 8th of May for the whole April. Some businesses, they're really low in cash flow, and this is where the banks, they have to step in. I read an article saying that 4 banks agreed to actually loan bridging loans to pay employees for the JobKeeper scheme. So please, as Peter said, just talk to your bank, because the Big 4, they did agree to do these bridging loans. So if you don't comply with the ATO requirements on this one, they might refuse to reimburse you for the JobKeeper. It's a lots of details to this, and unfortunately, we don't have the time today to explain it. But we will be back with Peter, and we're gonna get specific portions of the legislation and explain it to you if you keep following us. We are committed to continuous training and webinars during this period in the next 6 months or so. So please follow us, because you might like what you hear. So let's just take experts' advice before you go around in circles and listen to the, as I said to Peter, myths, and there's a lot of myths going around, gossip, this and that. The neighbor said this, my other accountant said, the bookkeeper said that. Please rely only on very sound advice, because I had clients very confused coming to me, and I said, you got it all wrong. Who did explain this to you? So there's lots of bad advice out there, which we don't want you to get bogged with it. So that's why we give you guidance where to find the right material. So now we reported to the single touch payroll, and when I say further comply, we're gonna hit the story that where we have to do the monthly declarations and lodge them with the ATO. The monthly declaration forms are not in place yet, and they expect it to be in place by 4th of May. So you have to be aware that there's a further compliance to this. You can't just abandon the system. You will have to keep reporting employees every fortnight.
Priscilla, we really need to move on now. So can I interrupt you now and you will come back later on in this webinar?
Yeah, so I'm really done with this one.
Okay, righto. We'll
It's
just
just a
move
few
on
more
now.
seconds because I did talk.
Okay, we'll move on to Jeff and
So
we'll come back to you.
we'll come back to see how sole traders and other entities are eligible.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And we just need to move on. And what I'm going to do now is introduce you to Jeff Goodrich. Jeff will talk to you about creating energy efficiencies, opportunities for businesses, opportunities to save money at this time. And this is going to be very important when you move into new business operations. So Jeff, are you there? You're joining us from Darwin. How are you today?
I'm well, Peter.
That's
Just had
good.
a few technical difficulties.
Yeah, I'll just change this and that should be over to you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Good morning
Peter.
where you are, I suppose.
No. We're 2 minutes, 1 minute to go. Yes.
Okay. Righto. It's away you go. Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, thanks, Peter. Yes, look, I wanted to make perhaps a longer term view on what's happening. And good business practice hasn't been changed by COVID-19, but a lot of people busy in their businesses, working in their businesses, often don't have time to work on their business. And what I'm going to talk about is working on the business, in particular around energy. And as everyone knows, because it's everywhere at the moment, there are a lot of issues with power generation and balancing the grid and those sorts of things, which have become big issues recently as more solar and wind get on the grid. Now, solar and wind these days are cheaper than gas or coal, but it does need to change from a one-directional grid to a multi-directional grid. And so during the day, the amount of power you're getting goes up and down. So I've just got a bit of a PowerPoint presentation. If my technical skills survive, I can hopefully get that up. How's that look, Peter?
Yeah, it's not up yet, but it's coming.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there now.
Rightio.
If you can just click it on to the
slideshow.
Yes, thanks.
How's that?
That's good now, thanks.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so what I'm doing is talking about energy efficiency and energy management. And energy efficiency is about the equipment you use and to make it more efficient. And energy management is about how you use the power once you've got it. So in the case of energy efficiency, the rules in Australia now is we actually have a 230 volt system, a kilowatt system, but which means you have to provide between 216, your provider, between 216 and 253 kilowatts of power. The issue is that variations of that have always happened on our grid, and the more variations and the ups and downs, the less time a lot of your equipment lasts. And if you're already getting very high power, you will blow out light globes and motors and those things more quickly. You're also paying for that power that you don't need, because every piece of equipment in your business will operate on 220 volts, which is the international standard. So managing that is part of what we're going to talk about, and the management is turning lights on and off, right settings for temperatures and those sorts of things. So we believe it's now there's a good, it always has been, but now is a good time to look at changing how you're using your power, how much power you get. And this applies to all businesses, whether it's a commercial business, a government organisation, not-for-profit. It also applies to households, of course, but today we're concentrating on business. And if you adopt smarter energy practices, you will save money. So we help businesses develop an energy management action plan. And the energy assessment is we go in, we have a look, get a copy of your power bill, get a copy of the monitoring from the power supply company. We put monitoring in because it'll tell us more information than often the grid provider wants to tell us, and then we can do an analysis of the site. And that's quite a simple process. And depending on whether you put permanent monitoring in or do temporary monitoring, the price will vary. But it's less than $1,000 for temporary, and up maybe $1,500 for your permanent monitoring. But once you put permanent monitoring in, you can monitor every day how your people are using their power. So as part of the energy action plan, we set energy goals. We show you what's possible. We take an overall view, and then we do an economic analysis and then show you the costs, the savings and the costs. And with energy management practices, we put in equipment like voltage management, power factor correction, or a solar system installation to reduce your cost of your total usage of power, and therefore your cost. And typically the territory and around today, businesses are paying 30 cents a kilowatt hour, and with a good solar system and voltage management system, we can probably get that cost down under 15 cents, between 12 and 15 cents. So cut it in half. And then we provide education and about around what it's done, about funding options. We have a range of funding options, changing behaviours, and then ongoing reporting. So you're monitoring what's happening, and you can look at that once a month and say, okay, we need to look at this, or we need to look at that. This is a typical profile of a power. So not much power being used. About 5 o'clock, someone comes in, turns the lights on. 6 o'clock, they turn the air conditioning on, and then you go up to peak use during the day. And what we're trying to do is, and then drop off. So what we're trying to do is flatten the curve by adding, right across the day, by adding voltage management and power factor correction, introducing LED lighting. And with solar, we can reduce the usage during the day. So it comes your daytime usage comes down. And you can see down the bottom there an indication of the potential savings on putting on a solar system. So the steps to going through this are, firstly, we obtain your power bills. We install the monitoring. We get the energy, we get the information from the energy provider, but they don't tell us what the voltage is. They keep that to themselves. So putting the installation in, we can understand the voltage. I've seen voltages in the top end of the territory as low as 183 kilowatts and as high as 270. And the 270 was in a major school, and they wondered why they were blowing up computers and lights and everything. We analyse that data. We make recommendations, including the cost benefits. We offer you funding alternatives. But the bottom line is every one of the things that we do and you can do is cash flow positive from month one if you're using finance. And it's got, if you're using finance or you're buying it, is obviously the 100% tax deduction this financial year, 50% tax deduction next financial year. And most of the states have got grants available for businesses and not-for-profits at the moment as well to help with this. The technologies include solar power, energy storage or batteries, which are probably not viable in most cases. They're still, their return on investment is low. But if you need to know you need batteries because you don't want to have to shut down if there's a blackout, then we can add that. Power factor correction is a requirement of our providers, and you've got to have at least a 90% efficient system. and voltage management is where we reduce the power. Now we've got a device now that will do both those things in the one device. We're just launching this week, and that will make life a lot easier for a lot of businesses, especially if you've got older equipment, air conditioning, refrigeration. Those, if they're older, they're very inefficient, and we can make a big difference. LED lighting, of course. So that's just, again, a laying out of those, the various things. There's a whole lot more as well, but that covers 90% of how you can reduce your power bills. And $1 saved is $1 profit. And we just want to look, we want people to look at this now, while there's some time, while there's some financial benefits with tax deductions and grants and funding available. And we even have a funding where the payments don't start for 3 months. For if a business is in a sound financial position, they will wait 3 months for the first payment, just to make life easier through this first phase. And hopefully in 3 months' time, we'll all be a lot more active in our businesses, and then the payments can kick in. So that's a quick overview, Peter. I hope that covers it.
Okay, thank you very much, Jeff. You're coming back a little bit later to talk to us about getting in good shape for when this virus finishes. So I'm just going to move out of, we want to continue. And now I'm going to go back and introduce Priscilla again. Priscilla is going to look at the cash flow boost incentives and a couple of other things relative to the government assistance programs. So it's back over to you, Priscilla. Thank you very much. Still got Jeffrey there.
Thank you. So let's see.
You're on, Priscilla, so you're right.
Yeah. So I hope you see my screen. We just left off, we talked about businesses who employ people, but businesses who are sole traders and other entities which don't employ people, we call them self-employed, they became eligible for the JobKeeper. So small businesses not aware at this stage, because this is very new. They are still confused out there. They don't know if they are eligible, but that's why we talk about it. Like sole traders and some other entities, such as partnership, trusts, and companies, may be entitled to the JobKeeper payment scheme under the business participation entitlement. What we do, what we talk about is that how to nominate an eligible business participant. So these businesses, they can nominate one person. One sole trader, that's obvious, but for trust, only one beneficiary. For company, only one director. And so we nominate one person, goes down to the person, but the entity will receive the incentive except for sole traders. So when we go back to businesses who employ people, the money ends up in the employee's hands. Here, the money will end up in the entity's hands. All right, so we go, because these slides, okay, so I do have the second topic of the day, the cash flow boost, and from beginning. So let's see if you can see my screen. Can you?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, because these are my second slides. And cash boost, and we'll share.
Yeah, it's coming on now, Priscilla.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, it's on now. Thanks.
Okay, so part 2 is about cash flow boost incentive explained. This is again a very controversial. We waited for it for a long time. Now is in place, and it works at the press of a button in the portal. I tested it in the last 2 days. Comes through nicely, and who's entitled to businesses who lodge BAS returns, that they are registered for GST and also for PAYG withholding for employees. Now, this incentive was to cover or recover the PAYGs paid by employers to help them with the cash flow. So the payments are received when we launch the BETS return. I've seen it in action. It comes straight in, and it changed the last 2 days, where first it was designed to actually recover previous debts with ATO, and today we came across to the new approach where they will recover what's what is due on the BAS, and the surplus ends up in the business's hands. So we don't keep going back. If you had previous debts with the ATO, it's not gonna try to recover those old debts, only whatever is lodged on this period. This is gonna be also available in the next 2 BES periods, in June and hopefully in September for some. It is still in action. We're still observing it. And let's come back to this in the moment we can see more businesses taking advantage of this, and we'll explain it in more details. Unfortunately, today we don't have too much time, but we want you to be aware of this. Tax consequences, there is no tax consequences. You will not have to repay this. Just where it says that I had these tax consequences. I think, yeah, the tax consequences, the payments, they don't bear GST, the payments, they don't have to be repaid. They, you know, it is not an income to the business, so you don't have to declare it as an income. So that's what it wants to say. How us, our group, and our panel can help you. If you really need help, please don't forget to reach out to us, and I'll show you where you can find us. The experts, we are available with free, how can I say, free strategy calls. For free strategy calls, we want to give back to society, so please reach out to us for our first 30 minutes initial strategy call, so we can guide you in the right direction. You can find me here. This is my personal calendar. Book yourself in the Cloud9 Associates has a contact us page, so please go there. And with Peter, also I will take, if you really want to talk to Peter, we will reach out to him to make him available for you, specifically for your problem. But his websites are here. He's got amazing tools for accountants and for small business. Please go down and search it. If you need, if you would like to buy those tools, we do have this kind of discount codes. If you apply those, an immediate 20% discount will apply to those tools. So we try to give back to society. And to the small businesses, we just like to support small business, isn't it, Peter? Thanks, Peter.
Yes, thanks very much, Priscilla. And obviously, if people go onto the ESS Small Business website and quote those codes, they'll be able to access products with those discounts built in. So thank you very much for that overview. And we're now going to move back to Jeffrey, and I'll just bring that up now. Jeff's now going to talk to you about resetting your business so that you're in good shape at the end of COVID-19. As I said when I introduced Jeff, he resides in Darwin. Darwin, or the Northern Territories, had less than 30 cases of COVID-19 coronavirus. It's a small place, population-wise, but it's a big state, big territory, and they've done very well. So they're likely to be one of the first major business areas of Australia to really start emerging from the restrictions that we've all had placed on us by state and territory governments. Quite necessary restrictions, of course, to keep the fatalities from this disastrous virus as low as what Australia's been able to achieve. So what I asked Jeff to comment on in this final session is how you're going to go about resetting your business. So Jeffrey, are you ready to come back and talk to us again?
I am. No presentations this time, Peter, because
Okay.
my computer crashed yesterday and I lost everything. So
Yeah, that's sad.
anyway, that's fine. I'll get it all sorted. Yeah, I really wanted to just talk about the medium term, I guess. And you're right. Everyone else now knows that the Northern Territory is the best place in the world to be for COVID-19. We only have 5 active cases left. We've had no new cases now for 3 weeks, and we've had no person-to-person transfer at all in the Northern Territory since the emergency started. So we're pretty proud of that. We've got our borders seriously locked down, and anyone who comes to the Territory has to go and do a 14 days in a hotel. We've got to pay for the hotel. There's a $2,500 fee. So we're lucky if we get 20 or 30 people a day coming to the Northern Territory in any way, shape or form. And that's been very good. And it's important up here because the worst thing that could happen is for COVID to get into our Indigenous remote communities where there is very close living, very high levels of poor health. And so this week they've started doing sentinel testing right around all the communities on our borders from the other states, because obviously there are lots of ways to get across a border between Western Australia and the Northern Territory, or Queensland and the Northern Territory as well. So they're working very hard, and tomorrow afternoon we hear about our lifting of the things, but it's a long weekend up here this weekend, so the parks have been open up, people can go fishing and camping, and so everyone's pretty happy about that. And so, yes, we have sort of started looking forward of what we can do. And I guess this part of the talk follows on from my first part is how do we reshape our business for what we expect will be a lower level of income, and therefore we must reduce our expenses. So the energy saving is my passion, I guess, and I mentioned that first, but there are lots of other things in our business, costs that have built up, memberships of various organisations, subscriptions to things. You sign up, they draw the money out of your account, you don't really notice. So now is a good really time to go through and review all of your expenditure and have a real hard look and see what you do need and what you don't need. And there's a significant opportunities to reduce costs. And as I said, I think energy is one of the main ones. And that's why I talk about it. But every cost is reviewable. I know I also created the organisation Territory Proud Incorporated, and we've had quite a few of our members who have had, because we've had difficulties in our economy now for over 12 months since the gas project called INPEX started shutting down, and the 8,000 workers who were basically either living here or flying in, basically their jobs dropped down to about 500 people. So we've had a massive downturn before COVID hit us. So COVID is a second wave for the Northern Territory economy. And so the government have done things like reducing or delaying rate payments, cutting electricity and water charges in half, a lot of those things just to try and keep businesses afloat. But businesses have to do their bit too, and this is a good time to do it. And if you're not as busy, you should have more time to work on your business rather than just in your business. And so there's some great tools available through ESS BIZTOOLS, which I would recommend. And there are lots of services everywhere, I think. The hard part at the moment is there are so many emails and offers coming in for help, it's hard to know which ones to look at. But I believe some of the major organisations, such as the business enterprise centres, which are across Australia and funded by government, are a good start, and they're all free. And services such as ESS BIZTOOLS. I think that really covers it, Peter. It's a lot of it is just common sense, but I guess what I'm saying to people is if you've got some spare time now because you've got a lower turnover in your business, you might be doing more work because you put employees off, but take this opportunity to review all of your expenses and look for new opportunities to spread. I think one of the lessons learned out of this is, from Australia's point of view, our reliance on one big customer, China, has caused us problems. And it's the same for any business. Most businesses, 80% of your business will come from 20% of your customer base, numerically. So you have a good look at that, see if there's some weakness that you can improve upon and expand and look for different opportunities or looking forward. So one of the things I'm doing in my business is, even though batteries and storage is not economically viable now, I'm looking forward to find the best. And there are some really good examples of batteries that'll last 20 years, not 5 years. And they've got really good life, but they're more expensive. But it's about return on investment. So if a battery lasts 20 years, today it probably is viable. If we fund it and it's got a warranty of 20 years, that's a good opportunity to have solar and then cover your power bills at night using batteries. That's just sort of one example. But there's lots of examples across our businesses, and we never have enough time to go back and review it. So take the time now and make the most of it. Thanks, Peter.
Okay, thank you very much, Jeff. And I'll just come back to here. The next webinar we're going to present is on next Wednesday, the 6th of May at 12 noon AEST. This is part of our ongoing series of looking at the effects of COVID-19. So this is a survival panel. Obviously, Priscilla and Jeff are members of that. That's on next Wednesday. The guest presenter is going to be Paul Barnaby, who's a predictive accounting consultant and is also the Australasian representative for Plan Guru, who are one of the major software companies in America that produces software that enables the preparation of budgets and cash flow forecasts and forecast balance sheets. Paul spoke at one of these webinars for small businesses last week. We have had a couple of people who have injured themselves or got sick in our affiliate list. So I've invited Paul back next week to take a little bit longer than 2 sessions of 10 minutes. So he's been asked to put a case study presentation on how to navigate through COVID-19. And he's going to do that next Wednesday. And will take around 40 minutes to show how small businesses and medium-sized enterprises can utilize the Plan Guru software to be able to do your financial projections. These financial projections would be very valuable for you to be submitting to your bank if you wish to apply for the coronavirus guarantee loans that are available. They're available on the basis of a maximum loan of $250,000 for a period of 3 years at a low interest rate with no repayments of principal interest for the first 6 months. Now, they're the rules that have basically been laid down by the government and the Reserve Bank, which supplied $105 billion to enable the banks, the big 4 banks, but also I'm told about another 110 financial organizations have all applied for that money. I'm not sure how it's been allocated, but it's there and it's only available until the end of September. So if you think you need it, you should be applying to your bank now. It's basically for working capital purposes. That's why Priscilla was talking about it being utilized for the payment of wages, but you can apply for it for other things to do with your day-to-day operations of your business. And I'll be the host again. And we'll be making some comments. If you wish to register for that webinar, please go to www.esssmallbusiness.com.au/webinars. And at this stage, I just want to check again. I don't think I've got any questions that have been sent through. And
I answered one, somebody.
Yeah.
Wants,
so I think Priscilla just wanted to talk about the services you can provide. You've got a couple of minutes, Priscilla, so if you just want to give an overview of the
in the audience or anyone ever who's watching this video, please, every case is different. I'm happy to look at it. This is why we're doing the 33 minutes strategy session, where we look at your situation and we actually identify all of the incentives you can get. It's not, you know, we have to put a case together. Sometimes we have to lodge cases with ATO if we believe that we are eligible and the incentives didn't come through yet. There's a lot of work to do and a lot of help which I can provide. If we really need to pull Peter in, we will actually apply for a session with Peter if we need it. He's also versatile with grants, business grants and all that. We can go and look into that stuff a bit beyond the COVID incentives. So we are all out there for you.
Peter, I've got a question, if that's okay.
Yeah, Jeff, yeah.
I'm a sole trader, and I went and looked at the JobKeeper, and first thing I saw is it doesn't apply to people over the pension age, and I'm wondering if that applies to all of those. No,
I haven't seen that anywhere.
We have to look into your case. I'll dissect it for you, Jeff.
Okay, Priscilla, thank you.
Please, it's my privilege to do it for you.
No worries at all.
I can see money everywhere. I don't know if whoever knows me, I magic out money from everywhere. It's not.
No worries.
I'm famous for that. So just come to my calendar, and we'll sit down and talk on Skype, on video. And
no problems at all. I'm sure I'm not the only one who saw that.
I know. So we might even record that session for the ones who have the same question, and we'll broadcast it on Peter's website.
Okay.
Thank you both very much.
I hadn't noticed that anyway, but just to further expand that a bit for our viewers, you don't have to be an employee if you are a director, a beneficiary of a trust, obviously a sole trader, or a partner in a partnership. But the rule that a lot of people are not that happy with, I suppose, is that only one director in a company is able to access the JobKeeper payment. Only one adult beneficiary of a trust can access the JobKeeper, and the same with one director of a company. And people need to be actively involved. I'm not quite certain how active one has to be.
Sometimes one partner is in the touch, the other works. So let's nominate the one who works harder.
Yeah, but is it if someone's only working, let's say, 5 hours a week in a business that they're a director of, could the company nominate that person, do you think, Priscilla?
Yeah, but in only one entity. Let's say I got three entities. I cannot apply on each one.
Yeah.
I will apply on my main. Yeah.
Okay. But what I'm getting at is if a director is and
is not, and so
might be a sole director.
Yeah. The fact is that in these entity situations, the entity receives the money.
Yes.
And the entity does with it whatever they wish. It is not compulsory to pay it back to the principal. Yeah. The entity can even keep that money, but in the other situation where we employ people, the employees, they have to be
they got to get
reimbursed.
paid. Yeah.
So this is a bit the difference here. And if you have 7 companies, I do have 3 and 2 trusts and 1 whatever, sole trader, whatever. I am a group, yeah. I can only apply to 1 entity.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's an interesting situation. I think a lot of people are very grateful that the government has got some spare money or spare borrowing capacity to be able to do this. And it's great. So thank you very much, Priscilla. Jeffrey, you still there? And
Yes.
we'll just bring you back on if you wish. But I seem to have lost you now. But thank you very much for your participation today. I've already talked about that. If anyone's looking for more information on ESS Small Business, please go to our website, www.esssmallbusiness.com.au, Survival in Difficult Times, Learn More, where we have all of the information on survival, because we originally started writing this material a bit earlier in the year in January, where coronavirus was just a story about something that was happening in China. Little did we really know what was going to emerge. And we were writing it primarily to cover the Australian scene, whereby we'd had a succession of droughts, bushfires, floods, and cyclones. And then along come coronavirus. So we've added that all together, and we're calling it Survival in Difficult Times. So you can look at that. If you want to, you can send me an email. So if you have any questions that you're going to think about after this telecast, that you'd like to submit to Jeffrey or Priscilla, please send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, and I will get back to you. In closing, thank you very much for your participation today. Good luck. We all need to be thinking about how our businesses are going to survive this next 5 or 6 months, but then hopefully you're going to be able to rebound as bigger and stronger businesses. So have a great day and stay safe. Thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you. Have
Thanks,
a great
Priscilla.
day. Thank you.